Have you ever painted something and then once it dries, you get these weird watery bursts, almost like a cauliflower? That's called a backrun, and it happens when water isn't evenly mixed with the paint, so it pushes the pigment around. A lot of the time, it's seen as a mistake, but what if we use that effect intentionally? So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to create beautiful blooms and backruns on purpose. So here we're starting with a flat and even wash. I'm using undersea green. It's nice and juicy, but it's totally even. And then I'm just going to drop in some clean water and you can see what happens. That water is going to push the pigment outward and it's creating this soft feathery bloom. And this is what we love about watercolor. It's unpredictable, but if you know how it works, you can make it work for you. You can also do this with paint instead of water. So if you have this flat wash here, you can just drop some paint into that and create the same bloomy effects. So there's just so many ways that you can create texture in watercolor. Again, another reason why we love it so much. Now you can also splatter water into a painted area, kind of like we did with paint back in our splatter lesson, but this time it's water doing the splattering. So this creates multiple tiny blooms and it's a really fun way to add an organic, dreamy effect to skies, florals, backgrounds, even some abstract paintings. But you see how the water hits the paper and it is creating these really beautiful tiny blooms, and it works in the lighter area all the way on the right, and then in the darker areas you can really see this effect really beautifully here. And sometimes you kind of have to wait for it to dry to see the full effect. So this is how it looks when it's dried. Do you see those really beautiful explosions? And this is basically why we call it a bloom, because it looks like it's just blooming out. It's so pretty. Another way to create blooms is by reversing the process. Instead of dropping water into paint, you're going to charge your brush with paint and then drop it into clean water. So right now I'm loading up my brush with some Payne's Gray mixture and I'm just tapping it into the plain water swatch. And then look at those explosions. The paint pigment rushes outwards and creates this beautiful burst effect. This is a great way to build floral centers or get expressive in more loose styles. Speaking of florals, let's use this bloom effect in an actual flower. So I'm just painting a few poppy style blooms. I'm going to use a red mix, and while the petals are still wet, I'm dropping in that same Payne's Gray or black mix into the center, and we're just going to watch it bloom outward. It feels so alive. It can get a little bit messy, but once you have a little bit control over this technique, it's really, really fun. So if it's just damp, you might get a little bit more control, so we'll play around with that as well. But I'm just dropping in some paint into the petals just to show you those really fun bursty effects. And I'm sort of tapping into that paint in the center there, and you can see as it bleeds out into the red paint. And now again here, I've painted the petals with a very light wash of red. You can do with just water, but I'm just showing you a little bit up close how these really beautiful blooms start to happen here. Now the edge of that bloom will be very soft, but it's explosive, and once it dries it looks a little bit different. So at first it might look a little scary, but then as it dries it sort of diffuses out. So I'm mixing up a decent amount of the Payne's Gray black color so it's watery enough so that when I do touch it into this wet paint here, it will create that explosion effect. I'm doing real quick little taps, and if your paint is more dry or damp, you're going to have a little bit more control. So you see here it's not dispersing out as much. And these variations all behave a little differently depending on moisture level, timing, and the pigment strength. And that is the beauty. It's the beauty of watercolor, of all the in-between stages. So don't rush it. Try layering blooms while the paint is wet or damp and see what changes. So here we've got it a little bit more damp, so it's a little bit more controlled. So I'm able to really put that pigment down and kind of control it a little bit more. It's not as explosive. And you can also do these same techniques in flower petals, so you can add some water into them like we did before. Typically we wouldn't want these backgrounds in our petals, but sometimes you might. So you can definitely do with that and play with that as well. And something kind of cool is that different paints behave differently when it comes to blooming. Some pigments, especially more transparent or staining ones, will bloom more dramatically. Others, like opaque colors, might not bloom at all or just bloom more subtly. So if you're playing around with blooms and they aren't working like you expected, it might just be the paint. Some of my favorites for blooming are Payne's Gray, Phthalo Blue, quinacridone rose. Dioxazine violet is a really good one. But honestly, the best way to learn this is by experimenting with the paints that you already have. If you want to learn more about paints, I have a full lesson on that in this 31 Days of Watercolor, so I will link that here as well. And a quick note that once your paper is fully dry, creating blooms becomes way harder. So you can use other mediums like alcohol or oxgal to force blooms into dry paint, but they behave very differently, and this is why timing matters. So if you want those explosive textures, you have to catch the paper when it's in that sort of sweet spot. All right, let's move into backgrounds. I'm working on a painting where I made a mistake. You can see that weird yellow mark, and I want to cover it, so I'm creating a darker, more atmospheric background instead. And I'm painting in the general shape, and then I'm just softening it out with clean water so it blooms and bleeds a little into the space, and then it creates this blurred out dreamy feel, almost like a watercolor bokeh. And I'm doing the opposite where I'm adding paint back into those watery spots. And then I can even do the little tap here and create more of those really beautiful soft blooms. And you can even use your brush with water to create those blooms as well. To wrap up, I want to show you a quick fun way to use the blooming technique in a seascape. So I'm painting a beach scene, super simple. From the bottom up, I do a graded wash of sandy beige, and the top down a blue ocean wash. And where the two washes meet, that is where the magic is going to happen. So we let them meet wet on wet, and then you'll get this soft natural transition. And then if you want it to disperse more, you just drop a bit of clean water right into the edge where they meet, and then you're going to get more intentional blooms that sort of look like sea foam. And you sort of have to let them do their thing, like let them mingle for a bit, let them separate, and you can see there. You can see that effect. And then you could do the opposite. You could drop paint into your paint to create more blooms in the water. You can even splatter some water or pigment here and get a more dynamic textural effect. So whether you're doing florals, landscapes, or backgrounds, blooms and backgrounds don't have to be mistakes. They can be tools, and it just takes a little bit of intention. So thanks for painting with me today. I hope this gave you a better understanding of how to use blooms and backgrounds on purpose. If this was helpful, make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss tomorrow's lesson, because we're breaking out the fan brush and we are playing with texture. Think trees, grasses, and all kinds of natural detail. I will see you tomorrow.